Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
So we have our famous guy here who's Dean Webb. He's famous at Faith Farm at least, but he's famous for lots of things. But Faith Farm wouldn't be the same without him. And I have to tell you that they do so many things to get people furniture, to get people, in their thrift shops. That's what I'm going to talk about right now. But they do so much more. But some people only know them for their thrift shops. They buy, they bring things. So I'm going to let Dean talk about what's happening with the thrift shops right now, because it's pretty big.
Okay. Put on your calendar August 3rd and 4th. That's a Friday and Saturday. Just put it on right now. Stop what you're doing. Take a note. August 3rd and 4th, because it's one of our up to 75% off sales. And the reason you'll have an in on this is we're not doing any TV ad. We're doing email blasts and that sort of thing, plus this radio announcement. So August 3rd and 4th at all three stores, Boynton, Lauderdale, and Okeechobee. So go on the website, get those addresses if you're not familiar, and come shop. It'll be crowded, but that's okay. To get 50 to 75% off of stuff, it's really worth it. And the interesting thing about that is that our prices, they're already low. We're the third largest Ashley furniture dealer, new furniture dealer in South Florida. Just walking in regular on any day, you cannot get cheaper prices than we have on new furniture. You just can't. And so when you take and mark down beyond that, say even 25% below that, you're really getting a good deal on new furniture. So are
you saying it's on everything when you go in?
On selected items.
So
like we have certain items that we can, like Troy will mark them down up to 75% off. Other things are 25% off. Our new furniture is usually about 25% off, but it's 25% off. When you go to a regular store, they mark it up 1 to 2 times. So if something costs $1,000, they're selling it for $3,000. We mark it up like 1.7. So it'd be like $1,700. So we already mark it up so low. So when you take 25% off, for example, of an already discounted price that's over a third off to start with, and you take another 25% off, that's really cheap. You can't buy new furniture any cheaper. And for $99, we'll deliver it to wherever you are. So there's no cheaper way to buy new furniture. And of course, used furniture, especially at our store in Boynton in Palm Beach County, there's some high-end levels of living there in Palm Beach. And so we get our donated stuff we get is really, really good merchandise. So even the used stuff that we get is good. We get women. I've seen a woman's gown come in an original plastic wrapper with $1,700 price tag. It's never been taken off or worn. They just have, there's just a lot of elasticity of income, especially in Palm Beach. So it's just a really good time to buy. And so we're really promoting this sale. We're not spending the $50,000 in advertising like we often do, but because the snowbirds aren't here. So you better get it before the snowbirds come back.
I'm going to cover your face for a minute. Why don't you take this and put it up in front of you, because I want to get this on YouTube also. Okay, so that's it. It's
August
terrific.
3rd and 4th. Yeah.
Right,
and the neat thing about this is for the first time we will have financing on both new and used furniture. We've arranged to have financing, and nobody finances used furniture. Now, you've got to be credit worthy to get it, but if you got it and if you spot something and you want to take it home and you're a little short, you can finance it for up to a year. But here's the neat thing. We've negotiated a thing. A lot of people, everything we do now is we pay cash. Most people pay cash, either credit card or cash. So if you're of that type, but you want it and you're a little bit struggle, you can finance up to $5,000 worth. And then if you pay it off in 90 days, it's kind of like layaway. If you pay it off in 90 days, you have zero interest or finance charge. So it allows people, if they want to get it now and they're impatient, they can get it now, and they don't quite have the cash to pay it off, but can within 90 days. It costs you nothing. Otherwise, it'll cost you to finance it for a whole year. But so that we're really excited about the financing of both new and used furniture. Now, I said used furniture we couldn't find anybody. Went through 12 financing companies. Finally found somebody who would finance used furniture, and they do it based on they check your credit right there in the store. So we're going to have a little kiosk. You can put all your information in, and the customer will put it in so that we are not privy to their information, Social Security numbers and all that stuff. They input it, and within 60 to 180 3 minutes, they will get back an answer on how much they're allowed to finance. They put in their, what they earn and all that kind of stuff. So we don't have anything to do with that, whether they're accepted or rejected or how much, the level of financing. We have nothing to do with that. It's the company. But they will do that, and you can buy it immediately if you're approved. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
I really think that's really neat.
No, it's a wonderful thing you've created this. But now my other question is, so someone sees all these items, how do they get them home? They can't put them all in their car.
Well, if they need to, we have our trucks that go out and pick up donated items to put them in the store to price them. We reserve a couple of those for deliveries, and we will deliver for $99. You can have anything up to a whole truckload of furniture delivered, whatever you buy. And so it's a lot better. We've had people try and push the envelope. We had somebody determined to tie a mattress and something else on the top of their car, and it fell off on I-95 and caused a wreck. And we say, folks, I don't know about you, but my time's worth more than going through that hassle for save $99. I mean, come on. So for $99, we'll deliver it to you. So it just make it easy on yourself. You're already saving a ton of money with us anyway. So why push that envelope? Pay the $99, have it delivered, and if it's too big for your car. So you can do that, and that's really a neat thing.
I have another deal. There are a lot of people, these storage companies are making so much money, and they're keeping people's storage, things that people don't need. They probably have kept them there for years. Don't pay that anymore. You could save so much money. Why don't you go to your storage unit and make sure, take out a few of the things you absolutely have to have, then go ahead and call Faith Farm. Now, will you meet them there? How will you do that?
Yeah, we will schedule that. Actually, it's interesting on these storage lockers, some people forget about them. Or let's say they go and they don't pay their bill. So storage people will call us when the day they cut the lock off and see what's in there. And because it becomes theirs after a certain period of time by contract. And the storage centers will call us and say, hey, come pick this stuff up. So we will pick up everybody's items because it's now owned by the storage center because the people didn't pay their monthly rent on it for they're behind 2 or 3 months or whatever. So by contract, they cut the locks and take the stuff. You've seen the old TV shows, I know, where they bid off the stuff. But, you might as well. And we don't have anything to do with setting the amount of tax deduction. You give us a big break front, a beautiful 3-piece break front or something out of storage or whatever. We'll pick it up and we'll price it to sell on the floor. But you set on their paperwork what you decide the value is that you donate. And the IRS hopefully will accept that unless you inflate it ridiculous and you're audited. But most people just take a fair value for it. But you can make a lot of money. It's better than a garage sale. People beat you up on a garage sale. And so I don't understand why people do garage sale because people are expecting something for a quarter or something. And so it's easier to call us and let us pick the whole thing up. You keep your list, you price it and put it in with your taxes and donate. I do that. I donate. Matter of fact, the other day somebody came from Fountain Hill, South Carolina to visit us. And she walked in and says, "Oh my God, you've got the most beautiful bookcases and break fronts in your furniture.
You do.
It is just magnificent. And your dining room set. Where do you buy your stuff?" And I laughed. I said, "Where do you think? I get it at Faith Farm. I pay a fraction of what it would cost to buy that stuff new."
Right.
Because people donate stuff in really good shape. And so I'm on campus there. I don't have time to take off from the office, but Troy will keep an eye out and say, "Hey, you need to go to the store and look at this thing they just brought in from a donation." And I'll look at it. And that's how I bought the really nice furniture. I'll make them, put the price on, then I slap a sold sticker and go pay for it at the register. And then
do you know
delivered.
that Judy Blake Walters is watching? She's on there.
She is?
She's watching.
Judy. Hi, Judy.
Judy, I have to tell you, I love the flyer you made, too. That's exquisite. Really, it's great.
Yeah, so that's the first thing she mentioned, Judy, was your
flyer.
your creativity and your flyer about this sale.
Yeah, it's good. So that's a great thing about the sale. But the thing that you were saying, I think that's so true, is that people who really, I don't know what the difference is going to the regular furniture stores. I know it's a lot more expensive, but the people who you have there, can people negotiate with them? So let's say they like something.
They're not supposed to, because we have a guy that prices the stuff. And here's the thing. I'll use the Boynton store, for example. We don't have storage for this stuff. And we got dozens of trucks on the road 6 days a week picking up stuff, donated things. We have to unload it, price it, and put it on the floor to sell. When we do a major sale like this, our 20,000 square feet turnover will be 5 to 6 times. We will turn that entire store over. So the neat thing about Faith Farm is you show up, like we have dealers every single day are lined up waiting for that store to open at 9 o'clock to see what came in yesterday afternoon between 3:30 and 5:30, because stuff is donated every day. And they know, the dealers who deal with us know, they know that we don't have any storage. They know we have to price it cheap and keep it moving. So they take advantage of that, and they buy stuff cheap, and then you go to their store and pay 5 or 6 times what they bought it from us for. So why don't you get in on that and do it and buy it? I mean, why would you get in front of the dealers? I mean, we have dealers every day lined up.
And you told me a story. I forget, maybe Troy was here with you, but that you didn't realize the value of something because you're not art auctioneers. You don't really understand, and it was worth a great deal of money.
Yeah, we had a guy in the Fort Lauderdale buy it looked like an old Oriental type thing. It was a rare thing we didn't know. We priced it at $300. The guy bought it at $300. And I went to his antique store a week later. It was on the floor for $6,000. He knew the value. He priced it 20 times what he paid for it. And because he knew the value, our students who are in the program under recovery, they don't necessarily know the value of that. Some people are off the street and they don't know the value of anything nice. And other people are well heeled and they may know, but not always. I mean, that's the mystique of Faith Farm is you always get a job. I went to an engineer once and I went in and a lady, I gave him my Faith Farm card. I went back to see the engineer. Before I could start the meeting in the conference room, she came running in with a Gucci purse. She said, "Mr. Webb, I just want to tell you, I bought this for $5 in the purse barrel at Faith Farm." She says, and I took it to a friend at Saks and said, "Is this a genuine knockoff or a genuine?" And the lady looked at it and she said, "Oh, that's a regular $800 purse. You got a deal for $5. So the mystique of Faith Farm is 2 things. Number one, we don't always know the value of what's being donated to price it up. Number 2, if we did know the value and price it, it probably wouldn't sell at a thrift store. They're looking for thrift store prices. And the third thing is, you're just going to get a really good deal because we have to keep the furniture moving. We just don't have storage. We have to keep it moving. And we have to price it to move. That sounds like one of the little car dealers. Boy, we got to price it to move. Well, with us, that's really true. That's really true.
Yeah, well, I know. And of course, I wish I had a big home because when I go there, I see the neatest pieces there and I would grab it in a minute. But okay, so let's go on now with a wonderful story that you brought in today. I love this with the pictures.
Well, a lot of people don't know that behind the Faith Farm thrift store, it's not just a thrift store to make money. We take 94.5 cents of every dollar and put it back into the program for our 440 beds drug and alcohol recovery residential program. So we have transformed lives. So today I went on Facebook, it popped up, and here's this picture of this cute little baby here. So that really attracted my attention. I looked up and I saw it was from Emily. Well, Emily, if you read our book, You Turn to God, the first graduation story is Emily. Right.
I remember that story.
And she was the number 1 rated soccer player in Oklahoma. She but she got in with the wrong crowd. She was from a good home too, religious home, and she got in with the wrong crowd and started using drugs, and of course she ended up having a firearm and driving a getaway car. That's how far she progressed.
Oh my goodness.
Before she came to Faith Farm. And Emily came into our program, and she was just the sweetest, gentlest little girl you ever saw. And you wonder how people can go that far south on you when you come from a good environment and you've got all the successes of high school and everything. because that's hard, because that's a tough time of period in your life anyway. But she graduated, and then she met a guy. Well, when she graduated, we brought her into the corporate office, and she helped research grants to help us find grants to get money to help us. So she was writing and researching for grants, and she met a guy who was in the program who was about to graduate, and they started dating when they graduated, and they ended up getting married. And he went into the military, and here's another picture on Facebook, shows Emily and her husband holding a flag and holding their 2 daughters. And of course, the youngest daughter it was the baby that I showed you earlier. But that's just, I mean, they're in Alaska. He's on deployment right now, so she's kind of living alone for 90 days as a military wife with her 2 kids there. But they have a wonderful marriage, and I just love success stories. I just love people who've deteriorated down so far that they're on a self-destruction path of life until they come to Faith Farm. And they, they're cocooned in love, 10 months, they're given instruction. It's a faith-based program, of course. And, just the loving care. It's the adverse influence that got her using drugs.
Yeah.
It's the adverse influence that pulls her into the fold, and she realizes that her life is meaningful, that God really loves her and has a plan for her life, and she doesn't have to do that junk she used to do, and she can transform her life.
And what did her husband do? He was an alcoholic?
I don't know that.
Yeah, but he was there.
He was there for either. It was
for something.
With us, it's either drugs or alcohol.
Right. So it was something.
Yeah. So it was one of those two or both. And and I don't even know where he was from, but the bottom line is they understood each other because they both walked the same path to get to Faith Farm. So there was not any judgment they had on each other's part. They understood their life and what got them here to us.
And they helped each other. See, that was the thing. That was the good part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, see, that works all the way through our program. Like this Sunday, we have 1 woman and 14 men graduating at Boynton. And I will tell you, everyone in some of those graduation speeches, I promise you, it'll be guys they'll give accolades to their buddies in their class that you helped me get through the program. When I got discouraged and it just seemed so long, 10 months or whatever. And I always kind of chuckle because I think, well, it took them longer than 10 months to get in their addictive process of drinking alcohol and drugs. So 10 months really isn't a long-term program to try and change your life. I know it's 10 months, but to totally transform your life from being in a nosedive. And, I was talking to a guy at Christ Fellowship Church. They do 1 opioid death funeral a week.
Really?
One a week. That's just one church here in this area. One death a
terrible,
week funeral. I mean, that is so sad. So it's just insidious what's happening in our country today. Right. I don't understand. I don't understand why anybody would even do that. But anyway.
Well, I don't understand the politics of today. I don't understand a lot of things either. But I'll tell you what I do understand. I understand those Thai kids getting out. I'll tell you, you talk about, it said something to me. I watched that faithfully for hours and hours. I want more things like that on TV.
Oh, I agree.
I want to see all those good things, and we held our breath. We were all, that was like the power of the world was for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of what I call talking heads, the people way over on Fox or CNN or all that stuff. I like to watch just the pure news. My choice is NBC's Lester Holt at 6:30. I like it because the last 5 minutes of the NBC newscast is making America great or helping America again. And they'll tell a definite story of somebody who's transformed somebody's life.
Right.
And that's what we're in the business of doing. So I love that.
There are a lot of stories like that. It shouldn't just be one.
It shouldn't be all negative news.
It should be all over everywhere. And of course, I watched the last night. I don't usually do this, but about the American Idol. Getting singers and then dancers, and that's fun too because here's a lot of people who are now getting the first exposure, and that's pretty exciting. But I just couldn't get over the How did you think? Did you think they were going to get out?
I was concerned. First of all, I just want to say, how in the heck did they get in? What soccer coach takes some people 2.5 miles in the dark back into a cave where they can't go back any farther and they're stuck there? I mean, I don't understand that. But last night there was a 1-hour special on 2020, and it showed from a side view the ups and downs of the cave, and that for the first time I understood, because it was like a snake, up and down and up and down, and on the down thing it was full with water. So they would climb up over the rock, then they have to put the stuff in and scuba up to the next thing. They climb up over the rock and scuba, and they're doing all this in the dark. Now they brought lights to help extricate them out of the cave. But that 2020 special last night, for the first time I understood the intricacies and why one diver lost his life. Some of those things were so narrow, you had to take your tank off to get through. You could not even have your tank on your back where the narrowed down underwater. So for the first time I understood the intricacies of all the extra tank space and all the stuff they did to do. But at some point it was about to rain and they had to get them out because the cave would have totally flooded. They probably would have all drowned. So, that was just an amazing feat. But, if I had kids, I'd interview the soccer coach first, probably.
Well, I'm sure though no one blamed him, because there must have been, and a lot of people go into caves. They love caves. And maybe that was something, and I'm sure he'll be interviewed and there'll be a discussion.
It'll be new. And some people, my brother, God bless him, in Arkansas, they're about a mile away from his 40-acre place. He bought a 108-acre tract of land because it had a huge cave for him to explore. And he wanted to have plenty of time to explore. But it's so steep going down, he's got ropes pinned, and they have to hold on to ropes to go down into the cave. And that's claustrophobic for me. I don't care for that.
Right.
But some people seem to enjoy that.
Go to any of whenever we went to events or places, he did not want to go in the caves. And yet he'll go on the highest peak where I won't go because I don't like heights.
Yeah.
But the caves are, Carlsbad Caverns, those kinds of things.
I've been to all those.
I guess the big problem.
So that's roomy.
The big problem with this is that it was the water, and knowing that that's the time of the monsoons or whatever. But we're all happy they got out. Now I'm hoping that they all recover. Okay, sounds like they were prepared. They were really getting everything done. Did you know that the Dalai Lama sent a representative too? No. It sent a lot. And did you know that Elon Musk was working on a very small submarine, a child submarine? It was sending one there too. Everybody was in this. Yeah. They all wanted to help.
Yeah. That
was such a nice thing that we haven't seen this.
No, there's so much negative news nowadays. It's just a breath of fresh air, honestly, to have positive news.
I know that. That really was good. So let's just keep going with this. So you're telling me there is a graduation coming up on Sunday, and you actually open up these graduations to the public.
They're at 10 a.m. at each of the 3 farms. This one's at Boynton Beach, and it's at from 10 to 12. It'll probably go a little bit over because 14 is a lot of people. But we want them to tell their story. We try and limit their graduation speeches to about 5 minutes, but sometimes they get carried away, and usually when they do, they're really interesting. Not always, but mostly. Listen, you can't go to one of our graduations and see a guy tear up and apologize to his mother for the hell he put her through. Because a lot of times they don't know what they're putting their family through until they've been here and they see the other side. Yeah. Their minds get clear and they see that it's not nice to steal from your parents and grandparents. Yeah. I don't care if you do need a drug fix.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, no one could really know what it's like in that position. And we always, it's easy to give advice, but when somebody's in trouble. So let me give everybody a way. If you would like to donate money, they can always use just cash. If you go to the thrift shop, sure, you are helping them too. But if you could just donate, a $5 check, a $100 check, whatever you could do would be wonderful. And it's faithfarm.org. Get on their website, and you'll be able to then be able to help in some way. But the nice thing for me, frankly, is that you really do see where the money goes.
Yeah.
See, a lot of organizations, the money's helping, but you never get the privilege of seeing it. Might be for children, for this. You don't actually get into the the bowels, as they say, of the organization. But here, look at the people working there at Faith Farm, right? You don't have people working there who were not part of the program, do you?
We have some, like I wasn't addicted.
Okay.
There are people,
right.
About 40% of our people have not been through the programs, but the others have. And there was, I once heard a wealthy guy said, I'm going to be doing my giving while I'm living, so I'm knowing where it's going. That's what I love about Faith Farm.
Put that into your next article.
Do my giving while I'm living, so I know we've 66 years we've been transforming lives, and it's good ground to sow your financial seed in for a crop. And I expect we'll be here another 67 years.
I love what you just said. That's the cutest thing.
Yeah, because a lot of people will save it up, and I love it when they bequest and wills and stuff. But people that give as they're going, they can show up and see the lives change. They can come to graduation. Every 10 weeks, each farm has a graduation, and you can see the lives you've helped transform.
It's interesting. I love NPR. I always listen to a lot of that. But when you're giving some money, why don't you take a little bit of it from that and something from another, and just give them a little piece of it, because it will make you feel so good. You feel like it's an ownership there.
Yeah.
And you can call them at, let me just give you the phone number to call if you want really to, let's just give you the Boynton number. The number there is 561-737-2222. Call them if you need a pickup, or if you're in Fort Lauderdale listening here, or I don't know if Okeechobee gets this, but you are on Facebook now, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for letting me talk about Faith Farm. I love it.
I know you do.